Hello, history buffs. Welcome back to Gross History, where we dig up the nastiest bits of the past. Today, we're going to talk about a gruesome gadget from medieval England that's basically a guillotine with an attitude problem, the Halifax Gibbet. Let's rewind to 16th century Halifax, a town where stealing anything could cost you more than just your reputation. It could cost you your head. Back then, this wool-producing hotspot was very protective of its, well, wool. So protective, in fact, that locals devised their very own version of the French guillotine, long before France made head-chopping fashionable. If you so much as looked at their wool funny, the town officials would bring out the Halifax Gibbet, which was a simple but effective device to remind everyone, don't mess with Halifax's sheep. So, let's talk about the gibbet itself. Picture a tall wooden frame, a sliding blade with a big honking axe head attached, and voila, you've got the Halifax Gibbet. It worked on the same principle as a guillotine, except, well, it was a bit rough around the edges. Unlike the sleek guillotine blade, the gibbet had more of a hack and slash vibe. In fact, it wasn't unheard of for the first drop to, well, not quite finish the job. Yup, sometimes they'd have to hoist that blade back up and give it a second go. Who doesn't love a bit of suspense with their public executions, right? Now, if you're wondering what you'd have to do to end up in the gibbet's wooden embrace, the answer is not much. The law called the Halifax Law was a no-nonsense policy that said if you steal property worth more than 13 pence, you're done for. That's roughly the price of a latte today. In a period from the 1500s to 1650, over 50 people met the gibbet's blade. And get this, the Halifax Gibbet was so consistent that Halifax even coined the phrase from Hull, hell, and Halifax, good Lord deliver us. I mean, you know, a place is rough when it's listed alongside literal hell. There were even cases where people had been sentenced to the gibbet multiple times. They escaped once and then got caught again for the same crime. I mean, talk about a recurring villain. You might be wondering, isn't this just an early guillotine? Well, yes and no. While the Halifax Gibbet and the guillotine both aimed to give people a, let's say, quick exit, they had different styles. The French guillotine was designed for precision and efficiency. The Halifax Gibbet, however, more like a chainsaw in a world of surgical scalpels. Some even say the French got the idea from Halifax, but let's be real, the French perfected it with style. The Halifax Gibbet? That's like comparing a five-star chef to your uncle with a rusty barbecue grill. Eventually, the gibbet fell out of use as laws modernized and people decided maybe, just maybe, chopping off heads for small crimes was a tad extreme. And there you have it, the Halifax Gibbet, England's DIY solution to petty theft. It's one part justice system, one part horror show, and all parts gross history. So next time you think you had a rough day at work, just remember, it could be worse. You could have been living in medieval Halifax. Stay curious, but most of all, stay gross.